In probably one of the most shocking developments in modern history, not only does the media seem to be turning on a Democrat president, they actually seem to be swinging in favor of a Republican, and President Trump, no less. Now, is this going to be a trend, or is it just wishful thinking? Hi, I'm Mike Huckabee, and we're going to talk about that on today's Breakdown. Now, before we get started, tell me what you think. Is there a chance that the mainstream media could begin to see and even cover Donald Trump more favorably? I hope you'll write your answer in the comment section below. And if you haven't already, hey, it's time to subscribe to the channel below and click the notification bell. And be sure and leave a like. You know why? That way YouTube is more likely to show this video to Democrats. Yep. Maybe it'll change their minds as well. We have a number of clips we're going to show. This one is Jen Psaki. Now, this is when she just admits that the sanctions on Russia might not be that effective after all.
Is it the view of the White House that Mr. Putin could not be deterred by any set of steps? Or are you willing to concede that perhaps some other set of steps by the president and our allies might have deterred the invasion?
James, I would say that when we put in place the threat of sanctions and the threat of consequences, we never thought that that would be fail-proof or that would be 100% effective.
So she basically says, yeah, we did that. We didn't think it was going to work, but we went ahead and did it anyway. I mean, that seems to be the basic sort of operational perspective of the Biden administration. Let's do some stuff that we know isn't going to work, but hey, we'll be doing something, even if it doesn't work, even if it's wrong. And we can tell everybody what a great job we're doing nothing that works. Pretty amazing. Joe Biden continues to have these memory lapses about his childhood. It really sometimes gets a little bit unnerving. He remembers things that simply didn't happen. For example, he remembers the spike of gasoline prices when he was a child. Watch.
I grew up in a family where the price of gas went up at the pump, gas station. We talked about it at the kitchen table.
You know why I don't think that's true? You know why I think that's a big fat lie? It's because all during Joe Biden's childhood, gas prices were flat. They didn't really fluctuate. They were probably somewhere in the neighborhood of 18 or 19 cents, but they didn't move. So why would he sit around talking about flat gas prices around the kitchen table? You know what I think? That whole quote of Joe Biden right then, him talking, that was a bunch of gas. Pure Joe Biden gas. He never talked about that at his kitchen table when he was a child. He just didn't. All right, well, this next one, this is CNN finding their nerve to actually criticize President Biden. It's kind of hard to believe, but when they are talking about how Biden's saying he's going to go find some allies to get oil, even some of the commentators on CNN can't hold back.
And also increase our production. We're working with allies and partners around the world to get them to increase their production. But I agree. I think that the American people also understand that this is part of the cost of standing up to a dictator.
Can I ask, though, what allies and partners? Venezuela? Iran? Are these the people we're begging? I mean, to me, this is a major problem. This is a major issue that he's having to communicate with these regimes that we say are bad places, and now we're begging them for oil. I think the American people have noticed this.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty amazing because they say, which allies are we talking about? And then they go out and list these people that we don't have a decent relationship with, like Venezuela and Russia and Iran. When you lose CNN and you're a Democrat, you're in a bad place. I would say that's kind of where Joe Biden is. Now, we have a couple of clips that I want to show you. This is from Comedy Central and Trevor Noah, who I don't think is all that funny. He ain't no Jon Stewart, that is for sure. I guess maybe he thinks he's funny and other people do, but every now and then he actually hits upon something you think, whoa, that's a head scratcher. Trevor Noah seems to think that maybe Donald Trump wasn't so bad after all. Watch.
There is no denying that Saudi Arabia isn't playing ball with Joe Biden. And you know what? You can say what you want, but this would have never happened to Donald Trump. Never. No one was ever ignoring Donald Trump's calls. Yeah, because if you ignored Donald Trump's calls, you didn't know how he would respond. Maybe he'd send an angry tweet, or maybe he'd just like ban your country from everything. You don't know.
You know, I love that particular clip because Trevor Noah found some truth. And the truth is that no nation, I don't care how big, how small, how important or unimportant, no one would ever have just simply said, no, I'm not going to take a call from the White House. Not when Donald Trump was president. Trevor Noah was the one who actually admitted that that was the case. Now, the background of this is pretty simple. I'm sure you've heard on the news that President Biden wanted to have a conversation with the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia and put in the request to have a phone call. And the Crown Prince basically told him to go pound sand. And there's plenty of sand in Saudi Arabia to pound, so I guess he didn't mind telling him. That's unbelievable. I mean, in my entire lifetime, I can't ever remember any country telling a U.S. president, no, I don't want to take your call. I'm not going to talk to you. I don't trust you. I don't believe you. I'm not even bothering with your call. Trevor Noah goes on in the same particular episode of his show to explain that maybe people didn't understand Donald Trump's personality that well. Watch.
That's why I bet in these situations, Biden actually wishes that he could hire Trump to step in as President Wildcard. You know, just keep everyone on their toes. Because if Trump was calling, you best believe the UAE, they'll be racing to pick up the phone. Oh, Mr. Trump, we're here, hello? Too late, Ahmed. You made me wait 2 rings. We're bombing the UAE and the UFC, just in case.
You got to be honest, that may be one of the few times when I've really laughed out loud at something Trevor Noah had on his show. That was funny. He's going to bomb the UAE and the UFC, just in case. It honestly sounds rather Trumpian. But a great reminder that the world leaders may not have liked Trump. I'm not hiding the fact they probably hated him. But the reason they did was because he told them to their faces things they didn't want to hear. For example, when he sat down with all the leaders in NATO and told them they were a bunch of deadbeats for not paying the dues that they had agreed to pay. And when he publicly humiliated them, you know what happened? Did they quit NATO? No, they started paying up what they should have been paying all along. Donald Trump will never get credit for it, but he probably single-handedly saved NATO. That's what he did. Well, President Trump had a rally in South Carolina over the weekend, and in classic Trump style, he pretty much eviscerated the whole Joe Biden approach to governing, and we're going to watch that right now.
Just thought it couldn't get worse, any worse than that. I think that was, frankly, the lowest point in the history of our country, in my opinion. Joe Biden failed to deter Russia's outrageous invasion of Ukraine. You could take the 5 worst presidents in American history and put them together, and they would not have done the damage Joe Biden has done in just 13 months.
Clearly, the crowd agreed with that, and quite frankly, a lot of Americans, even Democrats, are beginning to think Donald Trump may in fact be onto something. Well, thanks for watching, and I hope you'll consider subscribing to the channel and clicking the notification bell below. Leave a like and tell me your thoughts on this video in the comments section. And be sure to check back on Friday for the live stream. I'll be doing my best to answer all your most searing and even hurtful comments and questions. And remember, if you want more of my news analysis and commentary, it's real simple. Just simply go to MikeHuckabee.com and sign up for my newsletter. It really is totally free. You don't pay a thing to get it. That's it for this edition of The Breakdown. I'm Mike Huckabee.